Boğaziçi University, I was not so satisfied with the overall outlook I got. I didn't like the North Campus much. I didn't like the classroom I was expected to study in for a whole year. I mean, physically, it was so little. And the clubs I joined didn't meet my expectations, and that's not the case.
What were you expecting?
People around me, my family, my friends were reacting to my sadness or dissatisfaction, however you name it, with a question. And that question was, what could a Boğaziçi University student possibly have to be unhappy about? Well, in my opinion, here in this question lies the key to long-term happiness. This question assumes that the external world is determinative of our long-term happiness, and that assumption is totally wrong. Let me explain you how. Let's say you just learned that you got into the university you wanted, your happiness levels will jump up high, right? We all have probably experienced such things since we are all at Boğaziçi University. Let's say that you will be 7 out of 10 happy, but that will last maybe a week or two, not more than that. In time, instead of focusing at the privileges of being a student at Boğaziçi University, in time you will turn your focus to workload, hassle, stress, complaints, etc. So in time you will be back at your default level of happiness. Let's imagine a negative version of this. Let's say that something you would never want to happen has just happened and you scored so low in the achievement exam. Your happiness level may be sub-zero. You will be questioning yourself if you are incompetent or faulty at some point or not that smart. But that will not also last for too long. Maybe a week or two, you will again be back at your default level of happiness. So we can say that your long-term happiness is dependent on your default level of happiness. If I knew everything about your life, I could only predict 10% of your long-term happiness. The remaining 90% is determined by the way your brain processes the world. Okay, how can we achieve long-term happiness then? Well, we have a common formula that undergrounds most of our parenting styles, managing styles, and the way we motivate our behavior. And the formula is work harder, be more successful, and be happier. Well, this formula may seem familiar to you, and you may now be asking to yourself, if this formula is familiar to me, how come I am not able to achieve long-term happiness in my life? Well, it's because this is the wrong formula. You should be happier first, then you will be more successful. Now I will explain why the previous formula is wrong, scientifically wrong, or wrong for 2 reasons. The first reason is, anytime your brain is rewarded with the achievement of success, you draw the goal line at some point further. Let's say you just got good grades, you will think that you should now get better grades. You got into a good school, now you will think that you should get into a better school. You have just beaten your high score in your favorite game, now you should beat your new high score. If you put happiness over beyond the success, then your brain will never actually get there. We unawarely push happiness over the cognitive horizon. And the second reason is, our brains work in the opposite order. When your positivity levels rise, you gain something called happiness advantage. When you're happy, when you're positive, your intelligence levels rise. You become someone more creative. Your energy levels rise. You become someone harder, faster, and stronger. And dopamine flows into your system. Dopamine has 2 functions. It doesn't only make you someone happier, but it also turns on all the learning centers in your brain. There is a saying I really like from the game franchise Uncharted.
Backwards.
No. Forward. 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 Okay. The saying is sic parvis magna, which means thus from small things great things come. So by making small changes in your life, you can rewire your brain to scan for positivities in your life. Unfortunately, our lives push our brains to scan for the negativities in our lives. For example, at school, in the exercises we do, we look for the faulty statements mostly. At home, when we are done with writing our essays, we check our essays to see if we have made any mistakes. So we are always focused at the negativities, mistakes, faulty statements, etc. To prevent this from happening, for example, every day you can, maybe before going to bed, write 3 things that you are grateful for. So during the day, your brain will focus on the positive things and the things that you are grateful for, and you will be kind of rewiring your brain. Another method I can offer is keeping a journal for the good events that you witness or that happened to you. If you do this every day again, while we are describing the positive event, your brain will kind of relive the event, so it will contribute to your overall positivity. Another method is meditating. To get over our cultural ADHD, which is multitasking, you can meditate, it will help you a lot. I would like to talk more about meditating. It's a subject I'm interested in, but since I have a time restriction, for now I will just recommend you to watch the mini documentary series called The Mind Explained. And the last method I'm going to offer is performing random acts of kindness. For example, as a starter, when you step into the class in the morning, you can say hello to your classmates. Be sure that it will help you become someone more positive. In conclusion, by training our brains toward positivity, we can reverse the formula for happiness and success. Thanks for listening.